My hair is all over the place today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Empowered Conversations. Yes, where I have these amazing conversations with extraordinary people out in the world doing just beautiful things in service to others, as well as just all around living their best lives. And guys, this guy, Yogesh, is here all the way from Indonesia. He is joining me from Indonesia today. It's like 1 a.m. his time. And so we've been talking for a few minutes. He is wonderful. And he is one of the fellow coaches that's going to be at the Ultimate Quantum Retreat in May. If you haven't signed up, you've got to sign up. Even if you can't attend in person, guys, we're going to have we're going to have Zoom. You'll be able to be a part of the whole conference. It's going to be incredible. Well, let me introduce Yogesh, y'all. Yogesh is okay, sorry. All right. Yogesh Kapoor is the founder of the Art of Speaking Academy in Hong Kong. He has 6 years experience as a communications trainer, coach, and speaker. His background includes 16 years experience in the trade and development field, giving him vast experience dealing with people from different industries, which include manufacturers, traders, retailers, to final consumers. Yogesh has been a Toastmaster for the past 9 years, in which he has participated in several contests. In 2016, he won the Evaluation Contest Champion in Macau, representing District 89, Hong Kong, Macau, South China. In 2017, he won the Table Topics and International Speech Contest Champion representing District 87, Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei. And the same year ranked top 30 speakers at the World Championship of Public Speaking held in Vancouver, Canada. He has also been the club president of Victoria Toastmasters Club and AAA Toastmasters Club in 2018. In 2020, he once again won the International Speech Contest representing District 87. In 2018, Yogesh was a showcased workshop speaker at the Idea Fest event held in Jakarta Convention Center, which celebrates the creative industry in Indonesia. And also, he was a keynote speaker at the first ever International Community Development Conference held in Binus University, Jakarta. Guys, drum roll, please. We got to wake him up. Woo! He's usually in bed right now. We got to wake him up. Everybody, help me in welcoming Yogesh Kapoor.
Thank you, Stephanie. I'm already awake listening to my own bio.
I know, you're so fabulous. Oh my God, it's so awesome to have you here again. Thank you so much for joining me, even though it's like 1 a.m. your time. I so appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're so welcome. So, golly, what have you not done? Like, you're amazing. Like, so one of the first questions I love to ask my guest, because I like to get really deep, I like to get to the depth and the core of their soul and their why. What all transpired and happened in your life throughout your life that led you to the realization, wow, I want to empower people through speaking. I want to be a public speaker. Tell me
Well,
about
it all
yourself.
well, it all started in high school. I
Hmm.
was a very shy kid. I would go to parties. I wouldn't talk to anyone. I had the imposter syndrome. I never expressed my
Hmm.
opinion, and I was always afraid.
Yeah.
And one day, I was just sitting in school, and there was a student council election, and I saw one of my very good friends who was 1 year ahead of me. He became student council president. And he became the leader, and that's when I had a spark. I was like, you know what?
Hmm.
I want to be the student council president. Not because I wanted to be famous or any of that. It was just about leading the school.
Yeah.
So I visualized it for 1 year that I'm becoming the student council president. And 1 year later, when my time came, somebody gave my name in the nomination, one of my friends, and I went on against the most smartest girl in school and the most popular guy. And I was like, oh my God, I don't stand a chance. And I still remember writing my speech. It was 4 a.m. in the morning.
Mhm.
I fell asleep. I rushed to school, and I'm talking 1995, right? We don't have YouTube or any of that stuff. Internet
Right.
was so new.
Right.
So we didn't even have a projector in school. Can you imagine? Because I wanted to show my slides of me walking as a baby. It was part of my speech. But the moment came, I gave my speech, and in that afternoon, I was announced student council president. So that one moment was the biggest shift in my life.
Hmm.
And when I say the biggest shift, my confidence just flew across. I was like, oh my
Yes.
God, what just happened?
And
You
that's
know?
amazing because sometimes it takes just doing that one thing that's completely out of your comfort zone, but you just go for it. And look what
Yep.
it did for you. Yeah, love it.
Completely, because I always felt that I had no value, and my opinion wasn't valued. And I wasn't very studious, or I wasn't very popular, and I was like, do you think you'll become student council president? And I was like, just do what you have to do, right?
Hmm.
And I went and gave that speech. And when I became student council president, I was like, oh my God, something has shifted.
Yeah.
Your being suddenly shifts. And
Yes.
just completely, you become somebody else. And I suddenly had so much confidence. That same night, I picked up the phone and I called the girl. And she went on to become my high
Snowball.
school girlfriend. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
snowball effect. It's a snowball
Yep.
effect.
Yep. Yep. So, it's about, like you said, getting out of your comfort zone, doing that one thing. Now, that was in high school. I became student council president. I was a leader. But after that, I went back to the family business, which was,
Hmm.
export, import, all of that stuff. But several years down the line, after doing these businesses and all, something was missing. Like my soul was feeling empty.
Right.
I always knew I loved the stage. I always knew I wanted to either be an actor or a speaker or a performer. In fact, I even looked at my yearbook this year and it said there, I want to be an entrepreneur, an actor, a politician. And I was like, you
OMG.
know,
Yes, I've
you know,
got books where I wrote my goals, where I wrote things like 20 some years ago that have come to fruition today. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I
I,
was an entrepreneur
yeah.
and I
Christina's
moved
here.
into, hey, Christina.
So go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry. Um, so years later, I was feeling out of place. I was feeling lost. I was like, I don't think this is what I want to do. This is not me.
Hmm.
And I spoke to my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, and he said to me, why don't you go visit a Toastmaster club, become a life coach or something like that. And I had no clue what Toastmasters was about. I just Googled it. It was
Hmm.
next to the closest one next to my office. I went there, I visited it, and as a guest, they asked me to come up on stage and speak. And the moment I went up on stage, that very feeling I had in high school, it just came back to me. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I was hit by lightning. I was like, you're born to do this, you
Yes.
know? And many of the people who were there that night said to me, why are you even here? You don't even need any, you know, it doesn't seem like you're scared of speaking,
Hmm.
but obviously, over the years I haven't spoken. You still need to hone those skills again, right?
Absolutely. Hmm.
So I joined the club, I became the president, and I started competing in all these contests. And I became really contest hungry. I started year after year going after it. And there was this one particular year between 2016 to 2017. I won every single contest. I became champion in all the different
Wow.
contests. And
Yeah.
I was like, and it was manifesting because
Uh-huh.
I really wanted to challenge myself and prove to myself, can I be humorous? Can I be good at impromptu speaking? Can I be good at the international speech contest? Because I saw others do it. So I was like, I got to try this. I want to know if I can do this. And the contest is not about the trophies. It's just about being able to deliver a message. And if you do it right, you never know whose life you're going to transform.
So I have a question. So what is your message? Is it a broad array of topics, or is there a central core message when you're on stage that you're sharing with others?
It's a central core message. So, if you're in the international speech contest, which is the only one that goes on to the world championship, and we have a finals,
Mm-hmm.
you have to decide what message you want to give.
Mm-hmm.
What is the story that really brings it out the best in you, or a message you really, really want to deliver? Like I said, it's not about the trophy.
Right.
So, my speech was about letting go your past failures. Like my first
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend, she broke up with me and I could never forgive her about it. Or when I first spoke and people laughed at me and I could never move on. And
Mm-hmm.
even about I was doing nothing with my life because I was too afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And how
Mm-hmm.
eventually I let go of all those fears and I stepped into the person I want to be now.
Absolutely. Stepped into the person that you are and that, and have been for so many years now. I love that. I love that because I'm sorry, my door is open over here. Anyway, there must be a ghost somewhere. But, I love that because that's what keeps people settling or not taking action on a dream or a goal or something that they, have held in their heart is fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real.
Correct.
I was on a Clubhouse. Do you know what Clubhouse is? It's an app where people are just speaking. So I was on a Clubhouse yesterday with two of my girlfriends, and we were talking about like how, people assume that, oh, Stephanie's just fearless. Like it's easy for Stephanie to act like, to put herself out there. And no, it's paralyzing sometimes with fear. I mean, because I care so much about my podcast or about my cooking show, there's a lot of fear. Like even when I kind of screwed up at the very beginning, because I started reading somewhere that I wasn't supposed to be reading, I was like, there was like this fear that welled up, like, oh shit, Stephanie, you just fucked up. But then you go, okay, Stephanie, that's okay. I mean, this is raw and real here. And that's what I love is that you have felt that fear and you went forward anyway. You just did it. And what that does is it breaks down those little things that keep you from taking the next or doing the next thing or the next thing.
Exactly. What you said is completely correct because, a lot of people think I don't get afraid before speaking or before a contest, but they would be
Right.
wrong. If they saw me, my heart is racing up and down. I'm
Yeah.
sweating. I'm like nervous about how am I going to do, because we are always wanting to do more, right, for our
Abs.
audience. And we don't want to disappoint them. So
Right.
that's where the fear comes from. It's not the fear of me looking good or not. I don't have that
Right.
fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am I could wear shorts and come in front of you and speak. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
to me.
You
I
might
don't
have
have
them on
issues with
right
that.
now. I don't know. I can't see, past right here.
You're right. I do. So, but
Yeah.
it's like you said, the fear is there,
Yeah.
but you have to shift your being.
Mm.
If you see Anthony Robbins, what does he always say? Right? You got to change your physiology, right? And I always have my own mantra for it. So my mantra is just before I come on camera or I'm on stage, I tell myself it's showtime. I just go, it's showtime. And I shift my being right there and then. Whether I forgot my speech, I don't remember it, I forget a line, whatever happens, I say, forget all of that. You're here for the audience and it's showtime. You got to perform, you know?
Absolutely. And you know what else I love is, and it just came to me, is that when you went from the, not that, the import export business isn't a good business, but when you felt unfulfilled by that and you were asking these questions like, golly, I want to do something that I'm passionate about, that elates me, that excites me, that lights me up, and you chose to seek that, and you started asking those questions, and that's when your brother-in-law was like, "Hey, when we're asking the questions, guys, when we're out here, just because again that happened to me in the '90s, which is when I picked up the book The Empowered Mind, is I had been in college and kind of changing my major, wasn't sure, thinking, oh, well, somebody said I should do this, or I think I might like this. But it's like, I just felt like this unfulfillment, which led me to keep seeking answers. And I love that that's what you did. And I can just imagine how your life just went like a fish out of water flop. And now what you're doing really does bring about that sense of purpose and fulfillment.
Definitely, because I still remember a point where when I was doing all of this, I'm like, does it really make difference to anybody, right? I mean, I started with one student, and I had him for 8 months, and he completely transformed in those 8 months.
Yes.
I was so surprised. He delivered a speech for his sailing club. He got funding for it. He spoke in front of his whole school. He went on to become a pilot, which is interesting. And when I was
Yeah.
going Vancouver for the contest, he sent me a message from Hong Kong, and he was like, we had our graduation today, and somebody forgot to thank one of our Mandarin teachers who's been there for 25 years. So I just got up and I went and I spoke something about her. And he's like, had you not taught me how to do this, I would never have done it. So when you
Right.
get that message, you're like, oh my God, yes, the work I'm doing really does make a difference to someone.
Yes. Yes. And it's not about caring. Okay. So there's a difference in caring what people think and making an impact and somebody giving you feedback on the impact that you're making, because live your life caring what other people think and you are their prisoner. Like when you're living your life in an inauthentic place and you're doing what you think you should be doing based upon what people are saying or people telling you out of their own fear, and wanting things to be safe and not rock the boat. But when you start living that authentic life, like really showing up at the core of who you are, and somebody gives you feedback like, OMG, like on Facebook, like I've had people come up to me and they see me, my Facebook posts. And a lot of times I'm very, very silly and eccentric and crazy. And somebody like, oh my God, comes up to me out and be like, oh my God, I love your Facebook. You're hilarious. I'm like, I know you. And the point is that this person, like we are friends on Facebook, but I never see them post anything. I never see them like, comment, share on anybody's anything, let alone my stuff. But then they're telling me how much of an impact in a positive way that I'm making. And, like whether it's bringing laughter to their life or, wow, Stephanie, I, love what you're out here saying. It's like, oh, wow. And so that's why, when I see people posting about, I'm cleaning up my friends list, I'm like, wow, you never know who's watching you, who's observing you, who's listening, who you're making an impact on, that you have no idea they're out there, and then you go and delete them as a friend because I mean, that's just my 2.5 cents on that. So, but yeah, I love the fact that you felt the fear and you went for your
I'm
life
glad
anyway.
I'm so glad what you just said because, on my Instagram, I don't post a lot of videos. I post maybe one in 2 weeks or one in a month, or sometimes 2, 3 months, I don't post anything. And if suddenly an idea shows up, I just take out my phone and I just put it out there. Back in 2020, there was a video I posted about 20 days left in 2020 or
Hmm.
20 days left before 2020 starts. So I made 1, 2 videos and I said, most people are focusing on the holidays. We should be focusing on trying to get that target till the last day. And I have a friend of mine, she's an insurance agent. And till the last day, she was, just hustling. And she got that client on the last day and she sent in that case and it worked. And she called me and she started crying. And I've
Oh,
never heard anyone cry like that. She was like, literally, she's like, I got it. She's a single mom. And,
yeah.
she just got it. And she was like, and I was like, I was just like frozen at that point. I was like, you never know, right? Who's watching, like you said, and who it's
Yes.
impacting, right? They
Yes.
might not comment, they might not say anything. Sometimes in my morning walk, I meet my neighbor, and he's like,
Hmm.
"Oh, I saw your video, or I saw your post," right? Like sometimes I
Yes.
feel lazy, I don't feel like posting, but when someone says that, you're like, "Oh, you got to keep doing it. You got to keep
Yeah.
doing it," you
Yeah.
know.
And again, it's not about caring what people think, but it's like, wow, that lights me up. And I'm sure it lights you up that somebody is positively impacted upon something that you've done or shared. And Christina is here and she's saying, hey, that is amazing story, talking about your story, Yogesh. And her last comment was, that is beautiful. Thank you so much for being here, Christina. She's heading up our retreat, guys. God, I can't even imagine doing the work that she's doing. I mean, I kudos, hands up to you, girl, for all that you have been creating and doing for us in this big ultimate quantum retreat, guys. It's going to be amazing. Yogesh is going to be there as a speaker. Christina's there as a speaker. I'm there as a speaker. We got 12 other fantastically phenomenal people who are going to be showcasing, their gifts and inspiring the world. Um, so yeah, so tell me about some of these competitions and some of the impact that you've made through these all the stuff that you've won.
So basically, there are like four different contests every year.
Hmm.
One is the humorous contest. So basically, you got to have a humorous speech. And I always believed I wasn't good in humor, but I realized with practice and watching other champions, you kind of get an idea of how humor works,
Hmm.
and you start getting into it. So when I first started doing my first humorous speech, I was pretty new in Toastmasters. Nobody knew me. So I kind of played, I wore a wig, and my
Uh-huh.
speech title was The Perfect Head or the Perfect Hair,
Oh,
you
I
know,
love that. That's so cool.
you know. And I was talking about how when I was in high school, my hair was this long, and I used to have a ponytail every day, and I lost my hair, and I always want to be an actor. But before it was in India, but now I'm bald, so I can go to Hollywood, and it was kind of making it funny about it, right? But in
Yeah.
the climax of the speech, I remove my wig and I just throw it. So the audience gets shocked at that point that he doesn't have hair because they don't know that, right? Uh,
Right.
right. So I realized I had that humor in me. And
Hmm.
so many people out there, they say they're not funny, but I want to tell them that it's the daily situations that you've got to think about that bring in the humor. Like
Hmm.
one of my speeches, I talk about early morning, getting up, going to the shower, and somebody pressed the toothpaste. There's water on the floor. I get angry with my wife, you know, and that speech title was called "Why So Serious?"
Oh,
You know,
yes. Yeah.
you know and I'm dressed up as the Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker, right?
Uh-huh.
And the costume has nothing to do with my speech. It has nothing to do with it, right?
Yeah.
But at the
Yeah.
end of my speech, I talk about how I wanted to get a divorce, and in the end I didn't get a divorce. I asked myself, why am I being so serious about these stupid things? And
Right.
and keeping it short, at the end of the speech, I tell my audience that you have to, every time you have a situation where you're getting irritated or bugged, ask yourself, you'll find the answer in the question, why so serious? You
Why?
know,
Yeah, yes.
you
Yeah.
know, and I just want to tell you the Heath Ledger costume, right? And I
Yes.
tell them, and those of you that are wondering, why am I wearing this costume instead of a suit? Why are you being so serious about it? So I kind of give that example right there and then.
I love that. And doesn't he also say in Batman, "Why so serious"? Doesn't he say
Yes,
that? Okay,
yes.
okay. So I thought that. Um, but at the end of the day, if you think about it, think about sitcoms, guys, and it's hilarious. But you think if that were real life, that is real life. But yet we're laughing at a portrayal of real life situations. And if you flip it and go like, my life is a sitcom. My life is one scene after another within a sit. My life is an episode of Friends, or my life is an episode of Will and Grace, or my life is an episode of King of Queens. And you just laugh, and I love that. Why so serious? And then do that. That's a mindset hack. I would consider that a mindset hack, wouldn't you? Why so serious?
Exactly. And right after the speech, I had a senior lady come up to me and she said, I'm always so hard on my husband. Thank you so much for that speech. And even the contest chair, she had an argument with her boyfriend that morning. And she came up to me and said, after your speech, uh, I'm like, what are we arguing about? There's no need to argue about it. So, I didn't win the champion that day. I was first runner up because I saw the time was running out and I had to give my conclusion in quickly. Sometimes you lose it in the last few seconds
Hmm.
if you're rushing your conclusion. But the point was that at least I know some people who left that conference, they were like, okay, you know, they got the message that you just can't take small things and get triggered over it. You got to let it go.
Right.
The
Right.
relationship is more important than
Hmm.
um, than taking these things more seriously.
And you can also look at it as those small things that are annoying or a nuisance are like these little lessons, these little taps on the shoulder for you to make a different choice. And not only like your action, but in the mindset. And then a different action's created because a new mindset is realized.
That's why I
And
said, ask yourself that question every time you're angry. Why so serious, right?
done and
In the
done.
Yeah, in the coaching industry, we always say don't use the why question. It's a trigger question, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But in this case, I put it as a question that makes you wonder, what is it actually bothering me? And if you're getting triggered, you know there's some healing to be done.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's an opportunity to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And rewire some neural pathways. Because the
Exactly.
more we rewiring neural pathways to create a different outcome, the more that these new experiences and better outcomes happen. Everything is mindset. Grace just sparkles Edibo says hi, and it looks like she's clapping hands. Hi,
Hi,
Grace.
Grace.
Thank
How are
you.
you?
Do you know Grace?
She's my accountability partner.
Oh, I love it. Hi, Grace. Thank you so much for joining us today. Is she in Indonesia as well?
No, she's in Africa.
Oh, woo! We have got people from all over the world here today, guys. Holy cow, Empowered Conversations is global. um, wow, this is amazing. So, I am so excited about the Ultimate Quantum Retreat, and I cannot wait to meet you in person. I can't wait to meet Christina in person. I think everybody there, like, will. I don't know if you've met any of them. I know you're part of, what is the group that you're a part of that you met Christina, and what is the name
Uh,
of
it,
that platform?
that platform was called Coach Talk Cafe.
Coach Talk Cafe. So, have
Yeah,
any of you met in person before?
none of us.
Wow. Amazing what has transpired and manifested through the pandemic. Again, the pandemic, it was bad, but it was also good. And
Yes.
for me, and it sounds like for you, it's like I know I connected with people like yourself, so many people online. And now, guys, May 13th through the 15th, this Ultimate Quantum Retreat. We got Yogesh here coming in there talking about overcoming fear and going for your life. You got me. I'm going to be there talking about how healthy cooking really is easy and delicious. You've got Christina who's going to be there talking about Reiki. It's a broad array and a diverse platform of people sharing all kinds of gifts. Like, what a package. What a package somebody will receive. A fabulousness, a package of fabulous. There was a question I had on the tip of my tongue just a while ago. Um, so when are you flying in? Are you coming in early?
Uh, I'm thinking of coming in maybe a week earlier because I have family there as well in
Yeah.
New York. My cousin lives in New York. So I want to visit her. Plus, I have a classmate of mine. He lives in LA. I just messaged him today morning and he was like, let's just meet in Vegas.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of people I know there. I want to meet. So I'm trying to come in a bit early and, so it gives me a little time with the whole, because I'm 12 hours behind, right?
Yes.
So it takes time to adjust your body because even when I went to Vancouver for my contest, it took me a day or two to just, sink in with the time because I couldn't
Hmm.
sleep while it was morning there. Uh,
Right.
yeah. So
Fortunately for you, you will be gaining time as opposed to if we were going over there.
yes.
We would be losing. I know that when I've traveled to Amsterdam a couple times, it's like, I mean, that first year I was there, I remember, the plane arrives at 7 a.m. their time, but it was 1 a.m. here, time to go to bed. And I hadn't slept, of course, on the whole 9-hour flight. And we get there, and it was like, whoo, and you miss a whole 24 hours of sleep. And then, like, when we got back, I had like a migraine. So the next year when I went, I knew that I had to knock myself out and sleep on the plane. So when I got there, I wouldn't have missed that sleep. And it worked. It really did work. Um, God, I know that, it's 1:30 in the morning and you're going to need to go to bed. Anything else that you would like to share with us? Tell me about what else you're going to be sharing. Like, tell my audience about like the retreat, like what you're bringing, the gift you're bringing to the retreat.
So, communication is my thing, right?
Mhm.
But too many people think that communication is only verbal. Communication is also nonverbal, and it's also there at the quantum level. Now, if you want to manifest your desires, right, you have to align with the universe. It's not just about speaking, it's about feeling, it's about all of it, right? That's when you
Mhm.
manifest. So, I'm going to be coming and teaching you tools and tips on how to manifest through communication with the universe.
I love that.
And and I'm super excited because I'm the last speaker.
I know.
So I'm going to be, I was just telling Christina earlier, I'm going to be observing all of you,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to have to sum it up in that. So it's like I'm not even coming prepared. My mind is going to be
Right.
thinking, you know,
I
throughout the
love that.
retreat, and that's one of the things also I learned from competing in impromptu contests. It's like you're given a topic, you don't have time to prepare, start speaking, you
Right.
know.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, and it's like impromptu. I've always wanted to take an improv class. Yeah, I think that because I'm always as well, and I'm sure like yourself, always looking, how can I get better? How can I be better? How can I get better at what I'm doing? What more can I bring forth in myself that I haven't had access to yet, where I can make even a greater and greater and greater and greater impact through what it is my heart wants in the world. And we've got Christina says, Grace will be a keynote speaker on the third day as well. We have so many people, it is hard for all to remember sometimes. And she says, okay, she was just repeating herself. I'm the first speaker. And I'm going to be preparing something de frickin' licious, guys. Grace says the growth mindset. Thank you, Grace. Yes, it's a growth mindset, having a mindset like what else is possible? What else is
Yes.
possible? Um, and I'm going to be preparing something delicious, but having enough for everybody in our audience as well as all the speakers to have at least a taste. So
And I'm glad you're the first speaker because I love every time I see your lives, I see the energy you put out, and you come on the screen with this big smile. I mean, I told you that day when we had a meeting as well, right? That
yeah,
energy that's pouring out of you, and that's what I mean by shifting your being, right? As soon as that camera turns on, your being has shifted. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. That smile there,
yeah.
that energy comes like, yes, I'm gonna go, out there, and I'm gonna talk, and I'm gonna entertain, and I'm gonna make sure everybody has a fun time in this life. That's that's such an awesome way to start the retreat. I mean, I'm looking forward to that myself. I'm looking forward to your speech.
Thank you. Thank you, frickin' thank you. That lights me up. Like that is feedback based on your observation, and that means the world to me. That just gave me cold chills. Thank you so much, guys. Oh my gosh. Anything Grace says yummy, and she's got the girl, like the flamingo girl. I love that's my favorite emoji. Attitude. And I love your energy at Steph. Thank you, Grace. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I can't wait to meet you. Well, guys, I'm going to let Yogesh get to bed and so he can wake up and be fresh tomorrow. But thank you so much again for joining me today, all the way from Indonesia. And thank you, Grace, for being here from Africa. Woo! Boy, I am on fire. I'm on like cloud billion right now.
Thank you
So
for having me. I really enjoyed this conversation.
I did as well, Yogesh. And y'all, all the links to follow him, to find him, to work with him, to contact him are within all of the shares and under this video. Guys, till next week, have a phenomenal day and sign up for Ultimate Quantum Retreat. It is going to be epic. I'll leave y'all with that. Bye. You stay right here. Bye.